Hi everyone again. So picking up where we left off, we were looking at decimals and we've talked through place value. We've talked through how to write decimals in expanded form. We've talked through how to write fractions as decimals. We've talked through number lines. We've talked through how to find fractions between decimals and fractions between two fractions. We've talked about how to convert decimals to fractions, and now we're practicing. So we're up to kind of number 2 here. All of the ones that I've skipped, make sure you try those. So number 2, it says express as mixed numbers. So this is where you write the whole at the front. So for example, in D, we've got 15 and then 8 100ths, but be sure to simplify that further. So for example, I could write that as 15, and instead of 8 100ths, I could simplify that. So divide both things by 4, say, and get 2 25ths. Okay, so I'll leave the rest of those to you. In question 3, it says change to improper fractions. So if I'm doing 3a, for example, 4.7, this would be 4 7/10. So to change that to improper, I'll do what I normally do. I'd times the 4 with the 10, and then I would add the 7, so I'd get 47/10. So it's the same as before, but you're just making that last step. Alright, the next 3 questions. What is ascending, what is descending, and how do we arrange in order? So ascending means going up. I always like to use the example of Jesus ascending into heaven. And descending means going down. Okay, so ascending, going up, we're doing lowest to highest. And obviously descending, we're doing highest to lowest. So let's have a look. If I want to rewrite decimals as equivalent and arrange them, when comparing, we use inequality symbols. Okay, we've talked about these before in our integers unit. So I know if it's bigger than, it's facing in the positive direction. Less than looks like a wonky L. And equals to means it's equal to. Okay, so 0.3 is bigger than 0.03 because we're looking at 3/10, which is bigger than 300ths. Okay, etc. So let's have a go at arranging some of these in order. In the first one, I've got 0.8, 0.3, and 0.5. So ascending means I'm going from lowest to highest. So my lowest here would be 0.3, then half, then 0.8, because remember 1 would be after 0.9. Alright, in these ones I've got 1.5, well that's going to be the biggest. 0.52, which is over half, that's going to be the next biggest. And 0.08, which is going to be 800ths. So if you like, I've got 800ths, 5200ths, and 1.5. You try the last one. Then we do descending, so we're doing the opposite. We're doing biggest to smallest instead of smallest to largest. So going down, so the biggest one here would be 0.8, then 0.75, then 0.692. You have a go at the next one yourself. Alright, in number 3, we're looking at writing greater than, less than, or equal to make the following true. So is 0.666 greater than or less than 0.7? Well, it's less than, so we put that symbol in there. 1.233, is that smaller or bigger than 1.24? Well, it is smaller than. Okay, $20.20 is equal to itself. A half versus 500ths, a half is bigger than that. Okay, you guys have a go at the rest. So in terms of our summary for this section, we've actually gone through quite a lot. So if I go right back to the beginning, we've talked through a decimal, what it is, how they relate to fractions. We've talked through place value. To the left of the point is units, tens, and hundreds, whole numbers. To the right, we have decimal and fractions. So we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, etc. We've looked at expanded notation, where you write the number in a larger way. We've talked through place value, so what's the value of a certain number in a decimal. We've talked how to write a mixed number as a decimal. We've talked how to write fractions out of 10 as a decimal. We've talked about number lines, how to label them, how to draw them. We've talked about conversions, how to order decimals. And so after you've tried a few more questions from the booklet that we skipped over, you don't have to do all of them, but do a few, then make a summary for yourself and then have a go at 4C. So some of your summary points might include things like place value. We need to know about place value. You might write things like, we need to know about expanded notation. You might write down that we need to know how to order decimals. You might write down that we need to know how to convert decimals. Okay, convert fractions to decimals. Okay, you write down some others. And then once you've done that, please have a go at 4C. Picking a level to do, showing working if you need it, and email me if you have any questions or feel free to ask another teacher. See you soon.